Hey guys, Big 8L here, and today I'm going to show you the macro guide to the Colossus Carrier build that I recently made. Well, recently made a video for. It's a pretty old build that I've been using for quite a while, even probably since like 2019, even before Void Rays got buffed. But either way, I'm going to be showing the first person perspective of me and what I do with this build. So obviously you go down and make a pylon so you can wall off since you're playing against a Zerg. Go ahead and get a gateway as soon as the pylon is done. I'll go ahead and put on the production tab as I am obviously not going to say literally everything that I do. Get a gas. I like to come over here with the probe that made the first pylon, send it immediately across the map, and see if I can stop them from taking their natural. It's a lot of the time they'll get there just before you, but a lot of the time they'll also get there just after you. If you want 100% block rate, you just have to send your first probe. But it doesn't super matter. Just try and block it for a little bit if you can. You can even pylon block if you really want to, if it's like a high ground nat. Uh, and then go check when the pool timing is. If the pool is late like this, then you can just go 20 Nexus, 20 Cybercore. For some reason, I freaked out and did 20 Cybercore and then made more probes. Uh, so obviously this isn't going to be the perfect execution of the build. If you want that, then refer to the build order video. This is going to be me actually playing a real game and trying to do the build as much as I can while forgetting whatever I happen to forget. Make sure you get a pylon on either 21 or 22 supply, and then get a gas. His lings are actually coming across the map pretty quickly. I should get an adept right now as soon as the cybercore is done, but I'm too busy, you know, just messing around with this probe for no particular reason. And so this adept is super late. And now it's time to get a Stargate that I have. So we're going to do that in the wall. That's fine. It's kind of greedy to get the Stargate in the wall because you don't have as much gateway production later, but it doesn't really matter. Once you have the Adept and the Stargate, get Warp Gate. Like I said, I should have got chronoed out the Adept or even just made it as soon as the Cybercore is done because the Zerglings are already here. I do, however, masterfully bait them back outside and then slip back into the little crack there. And with that done, we're going to wall them out. Anytime you can, wall out Zerglings and then just chrono another Adept inside of the wall. Unlike normally how I would make an Oracle, I'm going to make a Void Ray first and chrono it because while the Oracle is better against Lings, it has limited energy, and I don't know how many Lings he's going to send. So I'm just going to make a Void Ray, kills Overlords, it'll pretty much shoot forever too, instead of having the limited energy like an Oracle. So you want another. Essentially, with the build this time, I'm just gonna skip the Oracle, and we're gonna continue on like nothing happened. So I'm gonna get a second Void Ray, just keep making probes, chronoing them out, and then get a robotics facility about halfway through your second Void Ray. Keep making probes, deciding to make another Adept. I'm actually gonna kill the wall with this Void Ray because I no longer want to be walled in all the way. I just did that so the Zerglings wouldn't kill me at the moment when I didn't have any Adepts. So we're gonna have it prismatic align and kill this pylon, make a battery so nothing can stop me, and I can get that Adept in there. With these Void Ray moves from the side, I just attack moved it all the way across the edge. It'll kill any overlords it sees, and then once you get to the base, you can try and snipe like a drone and run away, or maybe more overlords. Just don't actually fight queens or spores. Then the second Void Ray is going to do a loop around the main base, and then across the top and down. It's killing an Overlord right now, which is good. As soon as the uh, robotics facility is done, start an observer, and then get a robotics bay and another robotics facility. I didn't have the money to at the moment, so I didn't start the other robotics bay. When you take your third, warp in more adepts since your warp gate will be done. Come and take it with either 2 or 3 adepts and hide them between the pylon and the nexus. Because if I had 2 more adepts, even 1 more adept, I probably could have stopped that run by. However, I was greedy, so I get punished for it. Once you get all 3 Void Rays, break them home, and have the observer follow them. They're going to become a creep clearing squad slash just hit and run along the outside. I forgot to get that second robo earlier, so we're going to get that now and a Templar Archives and start making Colossus and extended Thermal Lance. I am supply blocked yet again, which is not great, so no Colossus to be produced yet. Continue to just go around the edge. If you see a 4th base, kill it with the Void Rays. If you see an Overlord, kill it. If you can snipe a drone. If you see creep, obviously, since you've got the observer following it. Don't fight queens like this. What I'm doing right now is bad. Uh, if there are more queens than you have Void Rays, you should just run away and go do something else. But I really wanted to snipe those spores, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Once the Twilight's gone, get charge, but most importantly, remember to just always have 2 Colossi producing and chronoed out at the same time, because if you make the 3 Void Rays, they're either going to go Mutas or Hydras. We're hoping they go Hydras. As you can see, he's going Hydras this time, and the way we're going to smash the Hydras is with double extended Thermal Lance, Colossus, and Charge Lots. If they go Mutas, you're going to have to throw down a Fleet Beacon and another Stargate. I'll have to have a game where I actually win that, and I'll show that at some point. Normally I get smashed because I don't scout with the Oracle in time, and then just assume it's Hydras and they show up with a bunch of Mutas. But that's not going to happen this game. The Void Rays are going to continue to hunt around the side, see what they can get. At the third, you want to make a wall like this and put cannon battery behind it. I forgot to make forge, so I'm just going to put a battery behind it, which is fine since I've got Colossus to protect it now. As much as you can, you don't want the Void Rays to die. If you see Hydras, just go hide in the dead space and keep poking at like the main base. That way they keep a bunch of Hydras at home instead of just attacking you. Because once the Void Rays are all dead, there's nothing keeping him at home, and they'll just come across the map with whatever they've got to try and smash your third, which is why we've got a wall and a bunch of Colossus behind it. Supply block is killing me. We're going to make some more pylons. Once you're totally saturated, get your gases, and then take another base. I went and threw down 2 forges because I realized that I couldn't make cannons. You can just throw down 1, but since I have 2 forges, might as well get double upgrades, of course. Once you have between 4 and 6 colossi, you don't really need more. That'll stop pretty much everything on the ground. Then you can make 2 observers just for scouting purposes. And then as you see fit, you can make more colossi if they die, or immortals if they're making lurkers or heavy roach, or especially if they make ultras, you definitely need some immortals. As you're doing this, you with harass with the Void Rays, you can send in charge lots just at random bases to the side. I actually come back and try and get the charge lots to go with the Void Rays, which I would not recommend, besides at the very beginning with non-charge lots and the initial 3 Void Rays when the Observer pops. At this point, it's way too late. They're just going to get smashed by whatever is on the map. Now that I've got my 4th base, we're going to get a Fleet Beacon and another Stargate and a Templar Archives. This is going to let us unlock pretty much the whole rest of our late game, because we're going to go Storm and start getting carriers. You want to be as active as you can with the Void Rays, killing creep, because since they've got that ability, or attacking However, obviously I was a little too passive with it and then just ran into that, so we're just going to go home. As soon as you can, make a warp prism and just start warping at a bunch of zealots in the main. Everybody hates that shit, and it's super effective. Just siege up in the main, warp in some charge lots there, and then siege down on the low ground, warp in some charge lots there, and just send it into the next base. Don't even have to look at them. They'll die for ire in their own way, and I've little pleasure in seeing them die. However, I am going to tell them to target fire that infestation pit just in case we're able to get it, and then we get sniped by some Hydras. So we're just going to go back. I saw him making quite a few roaches, so we started making immortals. Even if they're not making roaches, you might as well make immortals because they can stand underneath the colossi and the carriers, and they're very good. Very supply efficient unit. You can get the gases once you're fully saturated, pretty much. You can get the gases earlier on your fourth than the other ones because this is so late game that you should be having enough mineral income. Finally, gonna make some more cannon battery behind that wall, and I feel pretty safe, especially once storm is done. Uh, Big balls of stuff can't really come kill me. Like big corruptor ball right now would be really hard to stop. But once storm's done, you can ward that away, or you could just make archons. He's going to finally come attack the wall. This is pretty much the ideal situation until, of course, he unpowers my Artosis pylon. But then it's still pretty good because he's fighting into a choke point against a large number of colossi. You pretty much just A-move here. You can warp in a bunch of zealots to reinforce, but that's about it. Maybe pull back whatever unit's about to die, but that's about it. Just pull back micro, maybe walk back and try and get them to go into the choke instead of just running through it yourself, but you can do whatever you want. Of course, repower and rebuild the wall as soon as you have time. And we're going to throw down some more stargates now that I'm almost maxed, and I feel like I'm about to start floating some money. Once I am maxed, we're going to make some more production so that I can remax faster. He decides on the brilliant tactic of attacking the same wall again. So, again, with my whole army, we're just going to A-move here and activate battery overcharge and kill everything because good Protoss units go burr and shield battery overcharge go burr. It doesn't matter that he has lurkers, as long as you have detection, this should kill it. At some point, uh, the Colossus will stop anything from advancing, but they can't kill queens, for example, very quickly. And with all that anti-air, the carriers don't have any interceptors. So this is one of those really good times to just warp in a bunch of charge lots to actually have some damage in front of the Colossi. But you don't have to. If you want to save your money on better units, just keep making carriers, keep making archons. You don't need more colossi once you get to like the 6 that I was talking about. You can get like 6 carriers, 6 immortals, and that's about the max. Besides that, you just want Storm Templar, maybe like 1 sentry for Guardian Shield, and then carriers, or Void Rays, depending on how many corruptors they have. We're going to keep getting air upgrades, and we're not really going to move out on the map until we're maxed. Since we're building such a super death ball army with only the best units, we might as well get as many of them as we can before we attack, because you don't want to lose these really good units, and they snowball more and more as they get good. I feel like attacking about now, so we're going to warp in 3 High Templar and put each of them at my outermost base. Those are going to be Storm Templar to stop run-bys along with the cannon battery. It's really good. It's a really good way of stopping run-bys that aren't ultra fake focused. They're not amazing against roaches, but they are amazing against hydras and zerglings and banelings to a lesser degree. About now is where you want to throw away all of your shitty units, like any stalkers or adepts you have left, and make a warp prism and send it into the main to warp in charge lots as you attack at the front with your main army like this. It's very complicated. You're going to want to A-move towards them and then storm any of big clumps of units. because any non-clumps of units are going to die, and then the big clumps die to storm. So that leaves 0 clumps of Zerg units, which is good for you because you're not a Zerg. You're actually trying to have the Zerg have 0 clumps of Zerg units. So you just kind of go in. You don't actually have to fight them. The best way to do this is to slowly go around the perimeter of the creep, kill any outer lying bases, slowly shed away the creep as you do so they have less map control, keep expanding. But I felt like just going and killing them, so I did that. Yeah, hope y'all enjoyed, and I will post some more versions of what can happen when you use this build. Love y'all, bye. Oh, and by the way, this is Diamond 2.